Okay, so there is going to be a change in the format in terms of when the class is free. So the class is going to be free for 7 days once I put it up. So from like tomorrow until like the following Friday, the class will have the free option. It will also have the option of paying the $5 or the $10. And to those of you who are able to contribute, we greatly appreciate it. It's really what is driving this class forward. And then all of the classes after that free period will be available for purchase at any time. I'm going to start trying to organize them. I guess I didn't realize we'd have more than 5 or 3 or classes or so, but there's been so much interest. So they will always be online, but free for 7 days only. It's just going to help the, like all the paperwork and stuff on my end, trying to get things going. And that's it. That's all I have for you. And so we'll get moving now. And I do have a quote of the day for you. So as you may remember, when I buy a new notebook, I fill it with quotes. And so when I turn a new page, I have a new quote waiting for me. And today's quote is from Steve Jobs. And it says, "Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith." So I thought that would be perfect for all of us today. If you don't already have it, for today's class, I do have a set of wedges that I'll be using. I do have my K1 that I'll be using. However, in lieu of these things, if you don't have them, washcloths work well. And in lieu of the K1, a towel works well. Oops. And there we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get moving here. I think I'll move my spine out of the way. There. All right. Okay, people are still coming in. Admit all. I'm going to keep my glasses on for a little bit longer so I can see when people are trying to come in. Again, for those of you who did contribute, your names are in here, and I'll be drawing a name after class, and it will be on Instagram, and of course I'll let you know in the email that I send out who's this week's winner. Last week's winner was Elizabeth Jones, so thank you so much, Elizabeth. And we had our private yesterday. It was a lot of fun. She's super strong, by the way. All right, let me get my notes for today. Today is a butt buster class, and that it means that we're going to be really focusing on the glutes. And part of it is that we want to work on creating exercises that are going to make these muscles stronger. And part of it is that we want to just think about those muscles and think about engaging them. So welcome to your Scolio-Pilates exercise class number 6 online during the COVID crisis. And we'll start just with jellyfish breathing. So sitting either cross-legged or in a chair is completely fine. If you're sitting on the floor and your knees aren't flat, make sure you boost yourself up. And let me let this person in. Okay, so from here, little tiny breath in. And you're going to exhale all the air, roof of the mouth, away from the hips. Push the knees down towards the floor. Whether you're in a chair, if you're in a chair, don't put your feet on the floor. Cross your ankles and open the knees towards the floor. Okay, so that way your knees can still have that same feeling of opening. And when your knees open towards the floor, whether you're seated or in a chair, you're going to feel the butt muscles activate a little bit. Little tiny inhale. Hi, Gabby. And exhale all the air. Push the knees down. Pelvic floor lifts. That's the magic diamond. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Pelvic floor up towards your head. Good. And then inhaling when you need to. Exhale all the air. All the air. Push the knees down. Lift the magic diamond. Head to the sky. Good job, everybody. Inhale when you need to. So you're not breathing on my cue, you're breathing on your own cue. You exhale as much as you can. So you exhale slowly. The ribs funnel towards the hips, but the pelvic floor lifts up towards the ribs, roof of the mouth to the sky. And then you inhale when you're ready. And then again, exhaling all the air, knees push down, pelvic floor lifts up, roof of the mouth to the ceiling. Now, hold this, just breathing normally, keep your elongation, and bring your awareness to how those glutes are working here. So it's not a matter of just squeezing the glutes, right? You're pushing your knees down, and that's making the glutes activate. So the glutes like to work whenever the knees are turned out. So if I'm sitting on the floor here and my feet are crossed like this on the floor, so my toes are touching the floor, but my ankles are crossed. So if I'm doing that and I open the knees, then the glutes activate there as well. If I'm sitting here, my legs are flat and I push the knees down, the glutes activate, and it helps me also activate the pelvic floor. So now hands behind your back. You're going to take your elbows and then push them towards your spine. So let me turn around for just a moment so you can see what this looks like. This is something I do frequently to support my own spine. My hands are in the shape of a tent, and I push them, my elbows towards my back to act as a support. And so I'm lifting myself, my arms are elongating me, but my arms are also supporting my back. So you're going to take a little inhale here, exhale, elbows into the spine and roof of the mouth to the sky. Inhaling. Exhaling, knees go down, head towards the sky. Inhaling, keep going. Exhale all the air, all the air, all the air. And inhale when you have to. Last time, inhaling. Exhale all the air, all the air, all the air. Knees push down, elbows support the spine. You're leaning slightly forward. So make sure you're not laying back on the arms. You're leaning slightly forward. Good work, everybody. Excellent. And then let's shake out the ribs. Let's shake out the arms. You can wiggle the wrists here a little bit because they can get a little bit tired there. One more variation here. So you have an option of taking your arms here. If that doesn't work, this is also good. So 3 variations. Hands here, hands here, hands behind the head, or you can just do what we were just doing. So be sure that if wherever your arms are, that you are not feeling pain in the shoulders. If you need to put your hands back here, then that's perfect too. It's one of my favorites actually. So I'm gonna go here. My thumbs are at my jawbone. My fingers are on the back of my head, and I'm just gonna gently lift, like a 10% effort lift, and I'm gonna push down with about 30% effort in my knees. So little inhale. Exhale all the air, lean slightly forward, pull the ribs closer to the spine so they don't end up out here in front of you. Inhaling. Exhale all the air, lifting tall, lifting tall. You all look really good. Inhale when you have to. Exhale all the air, getting tall, getting tall, getting tall. And again, inhale when you have to. And exhale all the air, getting taller, getting taller, getting taller. Good work, everybody. And then shake that out. Okay, so from here, let me just check my notes to see where we're headed next. And let's go straight into our letter X. So you're gonna lie on your back with your letter X. You can grab your wedges if you know where they go. Now, before we lie down, just a reminder of where your convexities and your concavities are, right? So remember that the convex is the part that's bumped up, that's your sand dune, and the hollow or the concavity is the opposite side. And we have convexities, concavities, sand dunes, tide pools, both in the thoracic and down in the lumbar. So we're gonna lie down together, wedge up if you know where those wedges go. If not, don't worry at all. It's still very good. And you're gonna straighten those legs to a letter X. You're gonna straighten those arms to a letter X. I'm not gonna take my arms all the way down because it's gonna make my ribs pop to the ceiling. So I'm gonna keep them lifted just a little bit here. And I'm gonna reach my fingertips and I'm gonna flex my feet and reach my heels away. So little inhale, exhale, reach the heels and reach the fingertips for the elongation. Inhaling, exhaling, reach the fingertips, reach the heels. Now hold this elongation. locate the tide pool in your upper or mid back, the part that doesn't want to touch the mat, and see if you can get it to come down on the mat a little bit. I have to kind of wiggle myself and then roll those ribs down into the mat. And then I'm going to keep the ribs there. I'm going to reach my heels. I'm going to reach my fingertips and inhale, open up that tide pool. And I'm going to exhale, keep that tide pool on the ground, on the floor, on the floor. Okay. Hands come down to your hip and your rib. Do whichever side is best for you, but we'll do both. So if you're taking class today for the first time, you're going to put your right hand on your right hip, your left hand on your left rib. You're going to push those points down. You're going to take a long diagonal, pull on that diagonal here. So little inhale, hip and rib go down to the floor, and now reach those 2 points apart from each other, as if you're trying to create a diagonal, a long diagonal pull here. One more time like that. Inhaling, exhaling, hip goes down, ribs go down, open those ribs on the mat, now pull on the diagonal. Keep that very gentle pull so you're not hurting yourself here, you're not creating a stretch that's too intense. And then squeeze just the right butt cheek and then relax down to the floor. And then squeeze just the left butt cheek and relax down to the floor. Each time you lift or squeeze the glute muscle, the butt, then when you go back down to the floor, make sure those ribs are staying open on the floor, okay? So I'm gonna lift and squeeze one glute, and we're gonna go back down. Keep those ribs open. Keep the tide pool open on the mat. Squeeze the other, and back down. Squeeze the other, and back down. One more on each side. Squeezing, and back down, and squeezing, and back down. Shake your hands out, give yourself a little wiggle. And from here, we're going to do the diagonal on the other side, rib and hip. So hip goes down, rib goes down, and pull on the diagonal. If that doesn't make sense in your body, then go back to the other side. You want to be on the diagonal where you actually feel a little bit of stretch. So again, left hand, left hip, right hand, right rib, push both down and pull on that diagonal. Last time, inhaling, exhaling, left hand, left hip pushes down, right hand, right rib pushes down, pull those 2 points apart on a long diagonal. Good. Now, whichever one you felt the stretch on, that's what you're going to go back to. So for me, it's going to be right hand, left rib. For some of you, it may be left hand, right rib. And I've got somebody trying to get in. Hang on one second. So keep the legs in your letter X. And then from here, we're going to, instead of squeezing one glute at a time, hands stay on the ribs, your legs are in the letter X, flex the heels, but keep the heels on the mat. Squeeze both sides of the glutes or both butt cheeks at the same time. Your hips are going to try and lift off the mat a little bit, and then relax back down. Squeezing both, keep the heels on the floor, so it's going to limit, so you can't go into a bridge. You can't bridge up onto your heels here, and then come back down. And again, keep your calves on the floor, keep your ribs on the floor, keep your heels on the floor, squeeze both butt cheeks, and relaxing. Pulling on that diagonal, squeezing both butt cheeks, and relaxing. You have 2 more. Push through the heels, rib and hip go down, and you pull on the diagonal, squeeze the butt cheeks, and you come down. Last time. Push the heels down, push through the heels, hip and rib go down, squeeze the butt cheek. Very, very, very nice, everyone. And relax. Take your arms. You can interlace your fingers if you can. Take your arms over your head or go out to your letter X. Or, Fran, you can keep your hands on the shoulders here and just elongate. Or not just Fran, anyone where the shoulders aren't feeling like doing a letter X. Hands on the shoulders, totally fine. Good. Hands go back to the rib and the hip. Bend both knees. And from here, you're going to rock your hips so that your belly button starts to go down towards the floor and your hip bones start to look at you. They start to come up towards your face. So just a little pelvic rocking. Go the other way, push your heels down into the floor, pull your heels towards your hips, but don't actually move the heels. It's an isometric. And then rock your pelvis towards your heels. And then rocking. So you release the pressure on the heels and your hips come towards you. Now you put more pressure into the heels, draw your heels isometrically towards your hips so they don't move, they don't slide, and you go into a pelvic tilt in the other direction. And then when your hips are coming towards you, you release the pressure in the heels and your hips start to come towards you. I really want you to feel like you're getting the rib tide pull down into the mat here. So those ribs spread apart and you take the rib down, those ribs down into the mat and then back to center. And then ribs down into the mat and you come back to center. And ribs down into the mat, hold that. Now lift your hips up off the floor, but keep the tide pull on the floor, right? So those ribs are spreading on the floor here. So my left side is my tide pull. I'm pushing those ribs down into the floor here. My right side is my sand dune. I'm gonna put my right elbow on the floor and I'm gonna try and get that sand dune to come off that wedge a little bit with my hips lifted. I'm gonna go another inch higher, keeping the ribs on the mat, on the tide pull side, and coming a little bit away from the wedge on the sand dune side. I'm gonna go down an inch, and I'm gonna go up an inch. I'm gonna go down 2 centimeters. I'm gonna go up 2 centimeters. Down 2 centimeters, up 2 centimeters. Down 2, up 2. So those hips are going as high as you can possibly get them with those ribs on the side of the tide pool staying on the mat. So it's quite a bit of work in those butt muscles. So push up, get the tide pool ribs down. So the hips are going to the sky, the ribs are going to the earth. Down 2 centimeters, up 2 centimeters, push down on the elbow on the side of the sand dune. Get those ribs away from the wedge. Go down 2 centimeters, twice more. Go up 2 centimeters, push down on that elbow and come back down. Push up 2 centimeters and come back down. And let's rest. That was awesome. Bring your knees into your chest and stretch the butt muscles out a little bit so you can just wiggle. Is this bothering anybody's back? You can wave at me or you can let me know. Is it bothering anybody's back? Okay. If it is, then what you're going to do, because today I'm doing good. Today I'm doing really good. But on some days, like yesterday I rode my bike again, and sometimes after I ride my bike, bridging is not a happy feeling for my back. And so what I do instead of actually having my hips leave the floor is I keep the hips down on the floor and I go through all the same muscle action. But it's more like I'm doing a 10% bridge. Like what we were just focusing on is like 100% bridge. Your rib was down on the concave side. Your ribs were trying to come off on the sand dune side. You were working super hard. But if you're having a day where that back is feeling like, this is probably not a great idea, go through it like 10%, where the hips don't actually come off the ground, but you're working all the same muscles. Okay, you ready for more? Okay, so from here, take your heels to the edges of your mat and your toes are off your mat. Okay, so it's going to be the exact same thing, but our feet are wide now. So my heels are on my mat, my toes are off my mat, my knees are not facing the ceiling anymore. They're facing where the wall meets the ceiling. So they're kind of on like a 30-degree angle, I guess you could say. I'm going to start with my right hand on my right hip, my left hand on my left rib. I'm going to wiggle my ribs on my tide pool side so that I can get those ribs to the floor. If this position with your hands is not your best diagonal, then go to your best diagonal. If it's the other way, go ahead and use the other side. Go ahead and drop the low back towards the floor. You're softening the sacrum towards the mat. You keep softening until the hips are facing you. You start to lift the hips up. You're going to come off your wedge in your lumbar spine. And then from here, lift another inch, but keep those ribs on the side of the tide pool down. You're going to go down an inch. You're going to come up an inch. Stay right there. Squeeze just the left butt cheek and come down 2 centimeters with that butt cheek. Squeeze just the left butt cheek and come down 2 centimeters. Squeeze just the left and come down. Twice more. Squeeze just the left. Keep those ribs open on the side of the tide pool. If you have to come down a little bit, come down a little bit, but keep the ribs down. And now just the right glute squeezes and goes to the ceiling and back down 2 centimeters. Squeeze and go to the ceiling and come back down. Squeeze to the ceiling and come back down. Once more and back down. Let's do both. So both lift and both lower. Both lift and both lower. Keep squeezing here. Keep the tide pool open. If you can, push your elbow into the mat on the side of the sand dune. See if you can get the sand dune to come away from the wedge and come back down. Again, push the elbow into the mat on the side of the sand dune. Try to get the sand dune off of the wedge, or, a little less weight would be good. And now go all the way down, 1 vertebra at a time, all the way through. Hug your knees to your chest. Give your knees a little circle, like almost like an egg beater. If you want to do an actual egg beater, you can. But as you know, egg beaters go in different directions, so it'll take some thought process, something like that. All right, go ahead and rock yourself up to sitting. Let me look at my notes for you. Okay, let's go to sideline. I'm going to start. Now, I want you all to start. So you might be mirroring me. You might not be mirroring me. I'd like everybody to start on the side of your tide pool, your thoracic tide pool. Okay, so locate that and lie on that side. So for me, it's my left. So I know a lot of you out there have my same curve. And so if you're wondering and you're like me, then lie on the left. Okay. So from here, you are going to use your top arm as support. That's going to be your kickstand. I want you to straighten both legs. And once you straighten both legs, I have to resituate my ribs here. I have to make sure my ribs are going down to the mat again and not pulling off. I'm going to reach both legs away from me. If you know you're supposed to reach one more than the other, then please do that. And now from here, I'm going to turn both of my knees so they're facing you. My knees are looking at you. And now I'm going to turn both of my knees so they're looking one to the floor and one to the sky. And turn both knees to face me. And then turn both knees to face the floor and the ceiling. So it's the butt muscles that are making the this part happen, where the knees face the floor and the ceiling. It's the inside thighs, it's the inner thighs that are making the knees turn to look at me. So now when we rotate out, it's the butt muscles, and when we rotate in, it's those inner thighs. Good job, everybody. Turning out and rotating in, and turning out and rotating in. 3 more here. And I have to get my ribs back down because they're starting to come off the mat. So make sure that yours are staying firmly on the mat. And 1 more. Okay, now your bottom leg is going to be a kickstand. So flex the foot and stand on your toes. This is going to be the hard version. The easy version, not easy, it's not easy, is to bend this bottom leg. In fact, you know what? Let's all start with the bottom leg bent, because what I'm about to give you is going to throw us all off balance. So bend the bottom leg for me. Both knees are facing me. So you're in parallel, and you're gonna just turn out that top leg. Turn the knee to the ceiling and turn it back to parallel. Turn it to the ceiling. Good job, turn it back to parallel. Now, take your leg forward so that you can comfortably hold it. I can hold this without my kickstand, my arm. And now turn the leg to the ceiling, and now come back. And now turn the knee to the ceiling, and now come back. And if that's too hard, then bring it back in just a little bit. Like this right here, I feel like I get a lot more control of the parallel to the rotation. If I take my leg even more forward, the rotation to parallel, I don't feel like I have quite as much control. So you can take it back a little bit and parallel to rotation. 2 more. Good job, everybody. Parallel to rotation, parallel to rotation. Okay, bring that leg back over the other one. We're going to keep that theme going, and we're going to go rotation to parallel, rotation. Now hold the rotation for a moment and see if you can open that top knee another centimeter, keep opening, keep opening, keep opening, good work, and close. And then open, stay, can you open another centimeter, and close. And open, 1 more centimeter, and right back down. And open, good work everyone, and back down. And open, hold it, push another centimeter, and back down. Again, last one, open, another centimeter, and back down. Okay, so now take your leg you were just working on, keep the knees together, and take that foot to the ceiling. So we're basically doing internal rotation here, just to give that butt muscle a break. And let's do 4 more. 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. I'm going to resituate. You know what, let's give this side a break. Why don't we go to the other side? So when we go to the other side, since we were all on our concave side, now we're all going to be on our convex side. You can't let that rib touch the mat, right? There's got to be some air underneath there. Even if it's just enough air to slide a piece of paper, that's okay. From here, this is the tricky part. Keeping the ribs off the mat is easier if you take this top arm and you reach it over your head. Now I'm cheating today because I'm on the reformer and I can grab the edge of the reformer, but I'm not going to. I'll try and feel what you're feeling here. If you've got a couch by you, if you have something you can grab, then I would recommend grabbing it because it's going to really help you open those ribs and close the chain of this movement. So it's going to make it really effective for you. All right, so from here, I know I'm getting out of frame almost here, but let's start with parallel with the legs and rotation. Squeeze the butt. Parallel and rotation. Keep that arm reaching. Parallel. If you're really losing your balance here, then just put the arm down and just focus on bringing those ribs off of the mat. That's fine too. Parallel and rotation. Parallel. And if you need the challenge, want the challenge, then take that arm overhead to spread those ribs apart. Parallel and rotation. Last time, good work. Parallel and rotation. Bend the bottom leg. Top leg working only. Parallel and rotation. Parallel and rotation. Carry it as far forward as you're comfortable. And somebody's trying to get it. Keep going there. Parallel and rotation. Parallel and rotation. Parallel and rotation. Parallel and rotation. Okay, let's keep going. 4 more because you know I lost count. Keep going. 2 and 3 and 4. Bend both legs and keep that top arm reaching. Open the leg, hold it, open even more, keep going, keep going, keep going, and then close. Keep going there. Open and close. Open and close. Open and hold. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Open 11 centimeter and close. and open and close. 3 more. Open, keep the ribs off of the mat. Keep the arm reaching overhead if you can to stretch those ribs apart. Open. And one more time, open and hold. Hold, 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 hold. Good work, everybody. Okay, let's do toe lift and back down. So the knees are together now. Don't let those knees come apart anymore. And back down. And the toe goes up and you go back down. And the toe goes up. It's just to give the glutes a little break. And up and back down. Okay, now go ahead and push yourself up to sitting. Give everything a little wiggle, the shoulders, the neck, everything, the hands if you need to. And then let's go back to the side of our concavity. We'll do a little bit more here. So all the way down, and as I'm going down here, I'm imagining that I'm going to put one rib down at a time, kind of as if I was putting down one vertebra at a time when I'm doing a sit-up. So here I go, all the way down, one rib at a time. Now, my lowest rib did come off. That's like rib 12, and rib 11 did come off. Rib 10 is like halfway down. But I really am trying to keep them there as much as possible, to keep those ribs stretching open. Now from here, both knees are bent. Now I'm going to open both knees. So do you see how the bottom one is now off the floor? That's it, everybody. Good job. Kind of like you're flying up in the air with both legs. And then they both come down. And then they both come up. And then they both come down. And flying up. Good job, everybody. And down. And we're flying. And we're down. And we're flying. And we're down. 5 more. Fly. And down. Good job. Flying. And down. Now, don't forget to get that extra centimeter open every time you're up there, right? Really pushing. We're not just trying to get halfway there. We're trying to get all the way there each time. And flying and back down. Last time, fly and back down. Now, from here, keep the bottom leg bent and take the top leg straight. Reach it away. Keep the ribs on the mat. That's the hard part. Turn this top leg, the knee goes towards the ceiling, as much rotation as you have. My knee doesn't actually face the ceiling here. Do a check on your body, make sure hip is over hip, shoulders over shoulder, your ribs are coming close to your spine. Now keep that rotation and go behind you until you feel that butt muscle really, really, really squeezing, and then come back to center. Rotate the knee to the ceiling. Open, 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 open. Squeeze the butt and come back to center. You're going to be limited by a couple of things here. Number one, for today, I don't want you reaching that diagonal here. So I want you to keep the kickstand and I want you to get the leg going back. Shoulder stays over shoulder, hip stays over hip, and you come back. Now, if we change that and we start rotating, then our legs can go, you know, to the next zip code. But if we just keep everything centered, then we're pretty limited and the butt is going to work really, really good here. And then coming back. And then last one. Dee-da-da-da-da, and dee-da-da-da-da. Good job. Up to sitting and down to the other side. So this is the side of the sand dune, so it does not touch the mat. So down we go. Arm goes overhead. And let's see, where are we? Both legs are bent. And you can keep your kickstand hand here, or you can reach the arm overhead to spread the ribs. And both legs are going to open, squeeze the butt, especially on that top leg, and come back down. And again, open, 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 and back down. And dee-da-da-da-da. Good. You have 7 more to go. And here, and close, and D, and close, and 5. Good job. And 4, and close, and 3, and close, and 2, and close, and 1, and close. Take your top leg and reach it, and you're going to go behind, turn the foot leg parallel so the knee faces me. Now turn the knee to the ceiling, and now going back, squeeze the butt, and then come back to center. Going back, squeeze. If you need to use your kickstand, please do. You're going back. If you want a challenge, get your arm overhead. Ah, and back to center. And squeeze the glute muscle as you go back and come back to center. Squeeze the glutes and come back to center. Keep going here. Deep da da, and back to center. And deep da da, and back to center. And I lost count. Back to center. So 2 more. 2, and center, and 1, and center, and come on up. Okay, give it a shake. Okay, so just to reiterate, we're focusing on the glutes today, partly because, you know, it's helpful to do some symmetrical gluteal work for scoliosis, of course. And of course, summer is almost here. That's another great reason. And then the other reason is that with back pain, whenever someone has back pain, the glute muscles tend to drop out. They tend to just like stop, you know, being there for us. So instead we rely more on our hamstrings and we rely more on our back muscles. And as a result of that, our backs can, you know, just kind of start hurting even more. So we have to kind of remind those glute muscles how to work. And that goes for anybody who's had a history of back pain, not just scoliosis. So even if you're not having back pain today, then that history can be still coming after you. All right, so from here, grab your towel. We're gonna start with the towel, and then I'll grab the K2 wedge in just a moment as well, so you can see it both ways. I'm going to use my wedges here, so if you have wedges, go ahead and pop them there where you need them. And we'll start with a little bit of knee bends. So a couple of different directions. So here and here. Lots and lots of sand today. All right, so from this position, I'm going to touch my heels together. My legs are straight. I'm touching my heels together. I'm going to bend my knees and flex my feet. My feet are no longer touching the mat as soon as I start bending. If you're on your K2 already, then they might be, and you might be fine there. You can keep them on the floor. And then when I straighten my legs, now my feet are back on the floor. As I bend the knees, they're not touching. As I straighten the knees and point the feet, now the feet are touching. My ankle bones are still not touching. Bend the knees, hands are on your, forehead is on your hands. Now hold this position for a moment. Push your hands into the mat, reach your head away from your hips, and push your hips towards your feet. So you have a nice long line here. I don't want anybody dumping into like a sway back here, all right? So from here, bend the knees. Now, as you bring those heels in closer to you, you're gonna feel those glutes activate. And then as you push them away, keep squeezing those glutes and straighten the legs. Bend the knees, squeeze those glutes, and they're gonna automatically squeeze. The closer you get the more you bend the knees, the more those glutes will squeeze. And then pushing back out. Keep your head down on your hands and reaching away. Bend the knees and then push through the feet. Bend the knees and then push through the feet. Now stay there and then just wiggle your hips to kind of loosen that up and shake that out a little bit. Good job, everybody. Let's go to our letter X. So whether you're on the K2, if you're on the K2, I want you to stand on your toes. If you're on the mat, I want you to keep the feet pointed so the tops of the feet are on the floor. Take your arms to your letter X. I don't have a floor here, but we'll act like I do. So push both the hands and the feet into the floor and push the head away from the hips. and relax. The hands and the feet go into the floor. The head lifts a bit and reaches away, and you come down. Hands and feet into the floor. The head reaches away. It's just barely floating off the mat. The head is barely off the mat. Push the hands and feet into the floor. Head floats off the mat, maybe half a centimeter, quarter inch. And relax. Push down and reach away. Good. Bend both knees and swing the knees side to side to release the back. And then if everybody could come on up to sitting, or kneeling, I should say. You are going to kneel all fours. If you're on the K2, just keep the K2 where it is. I'm sure it will be fine. Hold on to the floor with your fingers. So my fingers are now on the mat like a tent. And I'm going to hold on to the mat with my fingers as my hips go to the bar behind, or to the wall behind me. Good. Come back up into all fours. I go up onto my fingers. They're shaped like a tent. I hold on to the floor with my fingertips and I reach my hips behind me for the back stretch. And I come back. I'm going to stay with my fingers in the tent shape. I hold on to the full floor with my fingertips. I lengthen my tailbone away from me. Nice, long, straight spines, everybody. Good. No rounding here if you can help it. Stay long. Stay long. And then come back up. That's better. That's better. And then go ahead and pull back, staying long. Very nice. That's super. That's super. Last time, coming forward and pulling back. No rounded backs. So we don't want any tortoise shells, right? We just want nice, long, straight. I don't know. What animal is straight like that? I have no idea. All right, so we're going to do a variation of that again. And if you have, and I'm going to use the K1 this time. If you have the towel, it's completely perfect. And I just want to demonstrate on both today. So from here, grabbing my wedges, and down we go again. This is going to be slightly different. We're going to start the same way, and we're going to add some different things to it. Rest your forehead on your fingertips. I'm resting my forehead on 2 fists to get me up a little higher, just so you can hear me, so I'm not yelling at the mat. And from here, my heels are touching each other, and I'm going to bend the knees, heels stay together, and I'm going to straighten the legs and point the toes, and I'm going to flex the feet and bring the knees up towards me, and I'm going to push out again. And I'm going to bend the knees, heels stay together, and I push out again. I point the feet at the very end. Flex the feet, bend the knees, and you push out again. Twice more. Flex the feet, bend the knees. Now stretching, stretching, stretching. Point the feet at the end. And again, flex the feet, bend the knees, and pushing out. Now, if you're flat if you're on the floor, I want you to stand on the tops of your feet here. If you're on the K2 wedge, K1 wedge, I want you to flex the feet. From here, their feet are not quite as wide as the mat. So bring them in just a little bit. And then from here, bend your right knee so the heel goes towards the ceiling. That's it. Now turn so the knee goes towards the ceiling and the heel drops. And then bring it back. So we're doing the same thing we did earlier. We're doing rotation and parallel. Rotation and parallel. And everybody's body is set up a little bit differently. So some might have more rotation here, some might have less. Turn the knee to the side of the room, the heel drops a little bit. Turn the knee to look at the floor, the heel goes to the ceiling. Turn the knee to the side of the room, heel drops. Knee to the floor, heel goes up. 2 more. Knee to the ceiling, heel to the ceiling. Knee to the ceiling, heel to the ceiling. Straighten the leg and bend the knees and give it a little wiggle. Okay? Put your hands down on the floor One hand stacked on top of the other, just underneath your forehead. And I want you to push the hands into the mat and lengthen your spine here. So just kind of give your spine a reminder that we're staying nice and long here. So now from here, keeping your head resting on your hands, bend the left knee. I'm sorry, straighten both legs. Those of you who are on the K-wedge are standing on your toes. Those of you on the floor are tops of the feet on the floor. Bend the knee, lift the leg up. Now, knee goes to the side of the room, heel drops. Heel goes to the ceiling. We rotate, we come back to parallel. We rotate, we come back to parallel. Knee to the side of the room, heel to the sky. Knee to the side of the room, parallel heel to the sky. Rotate, knee turns out, parallel heel to the ceiling. Rotate, knee turns out, parallel heel to the ceiling. Rotate, knee turns out, parallel heel to the ceiling. Two more. Rotate and back to heel to the ceiling. Rotate, heel to the ceiling. Straighten the leg. You come down and you give your back a wiggle. Let's go back to the right leg. Lengthen the spine so head reaches away. Straighten both legs. Lift one leg. Bend the right knee. Turn the leg out so the knee is looking at the side of the room. Now lift that whole leg 2 inches, 4 centimeters, back down. Lifting up and back down. It's a tiny little movement. And back down. Beautiful job. Lift and back down. And lift and back down. And 4 and back down. And 3 and 2 and 1. Straighten the leg, wiggle the hips. From here, straighten both legs. And you're going to lift the leg up. And bend the knee. Turn the leg out. And then you're lifting the knee to the ceiling. Up and back down. And up and back down. Up and back down. Up and back down. Let's do 4 more. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Leg goes down and wiggle the hips. Good job, everybody. Go ahead and come off the K2. I'm going to move my K2 to the side here. Fingertips are in a tent. My toes are tucked under. You see my toes here? So I'm not on the tops of my feet. My toes are tucked, and I'm going to reach back into a long, long spine here. No tortoise shells, long spine. And then come back. Keep the toes tucked under. Come back to a long, long stretch. And come back up. Reaching back. Long stretch. And back to center. Back to your quadruped. Let's do 3 more. Going down, keep the toes tucked, keep the spine long. Look at your image on the screen if you can see yourself. Make sure your spine is long. Make sure you're not going into this cat back. And all the way back. And last time, stretching all the way back. Nice and nice, long, long, long. Good. All right, coming to sitting, everybody. Okay. Is everybody doing okay? Oh, somebody's trying to get in. Oh, my computer says low battery and it's plugged in. Give me 1 second, everybody. That won't do. Oh, there we go. Okay. Whew. Okay, so from here, let's do some hand things to finish up today. So we've been focusing on the feet and neglecting the hands. So last week we focused on the shoulders a little bit, and we're going to go back to that again in the coming weeks. But for today, let's just start because we were on our hands a bit today. Let's go ahead and take 4 hand circles. So just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then reverse it for 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And then I want you to just clasp your hands together, right? And then you're just going to swim those hands around and like try to make a figure 8. So you're changing the direction of the hands, and the elbows are going to kind of move with it just a little bit. So little figure 8. Get those wrists released. All right, so then from there, go ahead and place your hands on your thighs. And or you could put them on the floor here. I'm actually going to move you a little closer to me so you can see what I'm doing here. Make it a little easier to see anyway. Hello. So pull you in. And so my hands are going to be flat on the mat here. And what I'd like to have you do is I want you to keep the ball of the hand, you know, the top portion here on the mat. And I want you to take the fingers off, including the thumb. And then everybody goes back down. And then you lift everybody up, keep the, this portion of the hand stays on the mat. Everybody up, everybody down. So lift up and then just kind of let it fall down. Everybody lifts up and then they just fall down. Up and they fall down. Good job, everybody. Up and they fall. 2 more. Dee-da-da, dee-da-da. Last time, up, da-da, and down you go. Now start with everybody up and then put the thumbs down and then the next finger and the next finger, the next finger, and the next finger. Everybody up. Thumbs go down, fingers, first finger, second, ring finger, pinky finger, everybody up. Thumbs, next, middle, ring, pinky, up. 3 more times. Thumbs, first, second, third, fourth, everybody up. Now, if you're having trouble getting some of them down, then do this one hand at a time and use your other hand to help you. So if you're going, thumb goes down fine on its own, and then you're like, can't get one finger down on its own because 3 want to go down on all at the same time, then hold the other 3 back and then just get the one down at a time, okay? So last time, everybody up, thumbs, first finger, second, ring, and pinky. Shake it out. Okay, we're going to do the opposite, okay? So now I want you to, without bending your fingers, grip the mat, so like a little grip action going on. Now lift the thumbs up, the first finger, the second finger, the third, and the fourth. Everybody goes down. Grip the mat without bending, then thumbs come up, but don't take the ball of the thumb up, right? The thumb pad stays down. First finger, third, fourth, fifth, everybody falls down. Now we squeeze the mat. Thumbs, first, second, I had to look, third, fourth, everybody down. Let's do it one more time for good luck. Push your fingers into the mat. Thumbs come up. First finger, second finger, third, fourth, everybody down, and shake it out. Please tell me I'm not the only one that feels like that's a workout for their hands. Does anybody else feel it? Yeah, you do, Megan. Yeah, I really feel it. Okay, so a little breathing to finish up. So your hands are going to be, I can take these off now because I can see you. So hands on the ribs. And little inhale here. Exhale all the air. Push the knees down, squeeze the bottom, roof of the mouth to the sky, head on the ceiling. Good. Inhale when you have to. Exhale, push the knees down. Magic diamond lifts, roof of the mouth to the ceiling. Good. Inhale when you have to. Exhale, push the knees down. Magic diamond lifts, roof of the mouth to the ceiling, head on the sky, wet sand on the shoulders so they don't join along. Inhale when you have to. 2 more to go. And exhaling all the air, all the air, all the air, all the air. Good work, everybody. Inhale when you have to. And exhale all the air, all the air, all the air. Good job.